The developing countries have always had a challenge. On one side, the demographic dividend by increasing population, and also the reduction of per capita income when case where the population was growing by leaps and bounds. Today, we have hit $8 billion population in the entire world. We are number two in terms of population in India. China still being number one. However, it is expected in 2023 that India will overtake China in terms of having the largest population in the entire world. When it comes to GDP growth, we are the fifth largest GDP growth in the world. But the problem is that with the high population that we have, the per capita income of an individual is certainly meager and is much lower than what we would like it to have. Hence, there are two aspects to higher population. The first, the benefit of the demographic dividend. India has been fortunate that 65% of the population is below 35 years of age. Hence, there are more people to work and less people to feed as compared to countries like Japan, Europe, and other countries where they have an aging population. Hence, the increase in population is definitely a benefit in terms of the workforce that we have. But having workforce also means more mouths to feed. And this is, of course, the challenge that we have to mitigate, namely the importance to increase GDP growth to a much higher extent in order to take benefit. However, there is no doubt about it. Other countries of the world are looking at India in terms of opportunities for investment because of the demographic dividend. Other countries in the world are looking for skill sets from India. Of course, the doctors in America, the nurses in the Middle East and the rest of the world, the engineers, the software people, all of them are being resourced so much from our country, India. And that is a positive story that we do. The services sector in India are now, especially the IT sector, is servicing the entire world, and we have a leadership again second to none. So all that and more is a benefit which the increased population will have. So if we can guide our country correctly, leadership-wise, if we can take it to the next platform, wherein the demographic dividend produces better results in terms of the internal food, availability of infrastructure, creation of all services, including schools, hospitals, and all metros, all these things and more are needed in order to improve the quality of life of the people, which can only happen if the GDP of the country is growing. India also needs to be competitive in terms of it. China, in the manufacturing side, in the last 3 decades, has certainly taken up the leadership vis-a-vis India. Now we need to get back into the competitive element and to be able to resuscitate our manufacture segment also in order to make a dent to the leadership of China. All this is going to be extremely important in the next couple of years as India moves towards the $5 trillion economy and then, of course, the $7 trillion economy announced by the Honorable Prime Minister. This will definitely happen with the support of the demographic dividend and the increase in population. But if GDP does not grow, then the demographic dividend will become a handicap. However, on the positive side of the story, in spite of the world recession, India is leaping much more better in terms of growth, around 7%. But however, we also have an inflation in India, which is around 6.5%, while in the Western countries, they are for the first time, after a long, many years, Europe, UK, America is challenged with higher rates of inflation, something which the West has never been used to. So the increase in interest rates in those countries, we have also Paripazu increased the interest rate. All this has definitely made a difference into the challenges of the economy. However, I am looking at it very positively that the future holds positive growth both in terms of GDP, in terms of the demographic dividend, the population growth, and the great leadership that we need to bring and make India a leading country in the entire world and more.